2, 3. Wow, that actually worked, I think.
Yeah.
Cool.
I thought there'd be some delay. Well, anyways, welcome. We're at the Bangers Only Conversation number 4. We're here with Mr. Alex Horton, visual effects and I guess merch designer and head of the web store, I guess you could say, right?
Art design, I would say art design.
Yeah, definitely art design.
Mm-hmm.
You do a lot of stuff around here.
I do.
And then Mr. House, who you've met before.
What's
Okay.
up?
Yeah. So I think this is gonna be really great because we don't really get to like talk about Alex a lot, like what he does for the group. Why don't you start off just introducing yourself and kind of what your role is in Bangers Only?
Yeah, so I'm Alex. Like Cooper said, I'm art design. So I do a lot of the album covers, a lot of editing on the videos, and a lot of like the advertisements and merch design. So I just kind of like working on random art projects just for the boys and figuring out, seeing where stuff goes and doing my best to...
Yeah, and I think I met.
Boys.
Yeah, it's always about the voice. I think I met you through Music Producers Club at Ohio State,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just sent like a message in the group me like, does anyone do graphic design?
Yeah, so I had, I think I promoted myself in like the little group me. I was like, hey, I do graphic design if anyone needs an album cover. And then you, I think, DM'd me and were like, hey, man, I heard you do graphic design. Do you want to do a little cover for me? And then I think that was kind of like a little test to see what I could do and then kind of hit it off and went from there.
Where were you at that point? Like, were you confident in your skills or was that just like some of a side hobby?
So I was pretty confident in my skills. I had done a lot of like design work in high school just for my community. Like I did like advertisements for the Parks and Rec hiring department. So I was pretty confident in my skills
Government
about
boy.
being, about being able to like produce stuff to advertise and get things out there. So it's pretty decent at it, but definitely you guys have stepped up my game a lot. And that first cover that you hired me to do was Octane, I think.
Yeah, Braven's first album.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean it was pretty much all history from there. Like hit it off pretty much right away, and then I started asking for more stuff because I didn't know anyone who could really do graphic design, like, or at least respond to like the changes in a way that was quick enough for us because we're always like making different shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for those of you who don't know, like I went to Ohio State. I graduated this year, and that's where Alex is. Are you in Columbus right now or at home?
Yeah. So I live in Columbus on like the east side, but I'm on campus this year, but right now I'm at my house in Columbus.
Okay. Yeah. Work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you said your background was like mostly like government work, like talk about that a
Yeah,
little
kind of
bit.
government work. Just like random school art projects and government work just for like the community around me, which is cool.
Was
Like
that
it
for
gave me a lot of
ODOT?
experience. No, it was for my city's Parks and Rec. So it was like the
Okay.
city government. Yeah.
Okay. Was that just like flyers and whatnot?
Yeah, it was like flyers and little banners and shit. But I don't know. It definitely gave me a lot of experience like using software and trying to find out different like design foundations and stuff.
Would you say it's like a passion of yours to do this stuff? Like,
Oh, it's definitely a passion of mine. I changed my major from engineering to design, partially because of you guys, because I was like, I actually like doing this as a job.
Because it is creative. Like that's
Yeah.
It's a creative thing, and like it's cool that Bangers Only like allows just not people that make music, but like other creators to like have their own vision out. Because your stuff is definitely like your own. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like the Waiting like album cover. That
Yeah, I
shit
love
is
that cover.
So
I
dope,
love
and
that
it adds like so much to the song. I feel.
Yeah.
I think when I mean at least like when I first heard that song, like, and then I saw the cover, I was like, this was meant to be together, like,
Yeah.
and it complements the music.
Because everything's a collaborative process, and like that's just your part of the collab,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, no, I definitely see Bangers Only as more than just music. Like, it's gotten to a point where it's kind of just this art thing, like more than solely being music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I agree. And to that point, like, I kind of have a hard time explaining it to someone, like, right off the bat, because, like, at the end of the day, like, it is, like, for, like, the technical purpose of it is, like, we're putting out music with all these artists on it. But it's
Mhm.
also, like, and that's where, like, kind of, I'd said to you like I was just kind of doing you were kind of doing commission work for us basically.
Yeah.
And it'd be like $30 here, $50 there, and I'm like I kind of like not that I don't want to like keep paying you. It's just like I feel
Right.
like you need to be brought on board in a different sense of just kind of like like money for the art because I feel like you were kind of invested in it. Like how would you
Mhm.
talk about that?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely invested in it to where I don't know. It just felt weird getting paid for individual jobs when I kind of worked with you guys on everything.
Right.
So I'm definitely for just working with you guys on everything and seeing where stuff goes and having that investment in the like a company.
I haven't filed that LLC yet. Maybe it's coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the first cover, like Octane, like what would you kind of call that style? Like I know it's like graphic design, but I guess everything falls under that umbrella.
Yeah.
But I feel like at least in my mind, 'cause I don't know like shit about graphic design to be quite honest with you, but like I know what the vibe is. I know it looks good, but
Yeah.
I feel like you've grown leaps and bounds from that point on, and it's been like a year, like literally to this month.
Yeah.
So, yeah, can you talk about that a little bit, like how the growth?
So it's honestly just been practice and just seeing how I can take things and make them into covers or make them into like ads or pieces that we can use for like promoting or just getting stuff out there, having cool art to put out with the music. Um,
And the
and
visual
yeah, it's
part
just been
is so
practice and
important.
seeing. Yeah, it absolutely is, and just like seeing how different I can make things. I guess.
So do you come from like a place of like wanting to be like super different, or you just want to like fit the vibe?
I don't. Sorry. Um, I don't know. I kind of both. Because
Yeah.
I like having that different style, but I also like trying to fit the vibe of what we're going for.
So do you like listen to the music first and then
Oh
try and
yeah,
make the
no.
cover?
So I don't know if it's synesthesia, but I just listen to the music and then whatever pops into my head, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do that. And then I just test it on paper and then test it in software and like see if it looks good. If it doesn't, I listen to it again and see what happens.
Hmm. And I definitely get that, like the feeling that the cover reflects the music,
Yeah,
especially for something like Waiting, like just the purple and like the
yeah.
dreamy. I think that makes so much sense, and it's like this was always the way it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Is that the way you see it?
Oh, that's absolutely the way I see it. Like that's what popped into my head when I first listened to it. I was like, okay, this is like this purple dreamy state, maybe a monster here, and then yeah, it's kind of what came to fruition.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a good segue too to talk about the Waiting music video
Yeah.
and how that's come about, and you were kind of just doing covers before, and then we know you can do a whole bunch of crazy shit, and then you're like doing shit on your motion capture. So
Right.
so yeah, so Waiting's been out for a while now as a single for the thrill of it, Thrillhouse and Scooby's album, which comes out Friday, October 16th. Dropped a release date today.
Let's
Get
go.
ready.
Let's go.
Nice.
Super excited for that. Um, so Thrill's a film guy. He goes to film school and he shot the video, and then we kind of wanted some more visual effects for this, and then that's where you kind of come in. And
Yeah.
so Thrill, why don't you talk about like what the base process for that was, and then how Alex came in.
Yeah, so we really grinded hard on that Waiting like video within like a week. It was a really cool creative process with all of us because like I know me, Cooper, and Scooby like came up with the whole like story together and like what like based off like where we can shoot and like obviously like the song and the themes and stuff in it. And so yeah, we just like I know with Eastbound I didn't because there's the Eastbound video which I edited but I didn't shoot it and there was this and like I can make cool effects and stuff but that's not really what I want to like focus my time on and
Yeah.
I'm not too confident in like them like looking good. You know what I mean? It's kind of just me fucking around.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to for the Waiting video I just wanted to focus more on like making a good music video that tells a story like straight up. So like we did storyboards and stuff and really planned all that out and like like then I did the edit, and I made the edit, like that was part of the art for me, like how like all the how it all cuts together, and like I did some like sort of transition things. I put some effects on it, but I didn't want to focus way too hard on the effects that time, because I'm also like someone who like, it is a collaborative process, like making these things. So I just was like, you know what, I'm the director, and like in the real film world, like the director doesn't. There's a VFX guy, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah,
the
he's not.
director that.
It doesn't all fall on him.
Yeah, that's not his job to do that stuff. It's his job to know what he wants, and to get the people to like collaborate and like work on that with him. So yeah, I did the edit, and then as we're doing the edit, like we were talking with Alex about what he would do, and it would be like to add like that like a monster in it, which I wouldn't be able to do that shit. Like I could probably figure it out, but that's like that would take way too much of my time, and um like Alex like knows how to do like motion capture and shit. So like,
Right.
and you designed the monster and everything. So like, yeah, I thought it was like a great like way to get that off my hands, and it was also a great way to like have you step in creatively and like work on like make it more of a organic like group project.
Hmm. Yeah, and then I essentially took it from there, and I was initially going to use just a Connect to try to get the motion capture, but then I was at school and I still needed to finish this project, so I just ended up using VR chat and captured in VR chat, just put up a camera and then filmed those shots that I needed in
So
there
is the
with the monster
monster
that I made.
technically you?
That's so dope.
Yeah.
That's so
So
sick.
you're in the video.
Yeah.
Actor too.
Yep.
Yeah, and like what Thrill said, like we really grinded on that video, and I don't think anyone's really gonna pick a story that we kind of crafted there, but
Hopefully they do. Hopefully they see that it's not like just a music video where you like go around, because that's what we would previously kind of
yeah,
do.
that was Eastbound.
Like, yeah, Eastbound, and then like just like a lot of other music videos are like that, like with people like our in like our realm, where just starting off, like they just go and shoot whatever they think looks cool, shoot a bunch of rap shots, and just keep on shooting B-roll. But we
Totally.
wanted to like actually plan out, like the story, and like I made the storyboards for like how each shot should like look during these like story moments. Then we also would do B-roll and stuff. But like, yeah, we wanted to make it one of those music videos where it was like a short film and narrative kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I think people will notice that, but
Yeah, I think on the
I hope
surface you
they
can
do.
you can see that it's a little bit more than just rap shots.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can kind of tell there's something going on there.
yeah.
But
But like how much people would think that we grinded on it, which I don't know if they'll
Yeah.
understand.
I mean, I don't know how much of this like came like really to life. I think some of it did, like the Donnie Darko like storyline kind of a little bit. Like
Yeah,
just to lay it all out there, like the music video is kind of loosely based on like the main plot points of Donnie Darko, with him sort of waking up in the middle of the road, and then the monster is basically Frank the Bunny, replacing Frank the Bunny in the movie, and he's kind of following him in this weird fucked up world. And there's a couple other like nods to the movie. I think the middle text scene is that they made me do it. Like that's the same stuff they see in the school when he blows up the water main or whatever. And then it kind of did this weird transition into another Jake Gyllenhaal movie, Enemy, which is kind of weird. The storylines kind of like weave together with that. Where, for those of you who haven't seen Enemy, which I'd imagine is probably quite a bit, is a large representation of monster, or in the movie it's a spider representing something else, and for Scooby, that monster is drugs, basically drugs, alcohol, and that kind of ties into the previous storyline where he's using these drugs to get to this like other world where he sees the monster, and at the end is a mimic of the Enemy movie scene where the monster's still there. He thinks he's kind of been done with it. So in the video, real Scooby kills drug Scooby with an axe, also used in Donnie Darko, and then real Scooby's back. He's like, okay, I'm good now. And then he realizes it's still there and it's something he kind of has to deal with, which is the same thing as enemy. He realizes this is just a part of him. He has to deal with it, and it goes pretty deep. And I don't think it was like really contrived at all. Like it just kind of happened, and
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. Like, what you're saying is like we had a lot of visual references to Donnie Darko. Like, obviously thematically, like it was pretty big, but it's like a pretty broad thematic idea because that's how it fit in with Enemy too. Like, the idea of like you being your own worst enemy and
Yeah.
a monster or something like representing like the bad side of you. Like, those are pretty broad like themes, and then through like Donnie Darko's vibe and aesthetic is just like kind of what we're going for too. Kind of a
just kind of
ghostly,
lines
super.
itself in with what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And but yeah, like like that's one of those things that like yeah, I don't think people will really pick up on.
Probably
Even
not.
if they like know Donnie Darko, I don't even know if they'll pick up on it. But like the visual reference, maybe the mirror shot. The
Yeah,
mirror
that was a
shot,
big
people
one.
will
Yeah.
yeah we'll get. But like yeah, there's a lot of like just visual like nods to Donnie Darko and like you said, Enemy at the very end.
And Scooby is wearing the same shirt as Donnie Darko in the end party scene.
Oh
So
yeah.
I don't know. It's not like quite as overt as it should. I mean, I don't want it to be that overt. I don't want it to be like a shot for shot mimic. I think that's stupid. But
Yeah. But it's there. Like it's there for people to dissect and understand. Like at least there's some substance behind the creation of it, you know.
Yeah.
that's something like if we had fans, bro. Like if people were
I know.
actually like seeing this, I'm
was
like
thinking.
people could dig in. I'm sure somebody would notice. Like
Someone's got to dig into it at some point.
Yeah.
like imagine the Reddit like subreddits and
Yeah.
threads
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're like what is this? And like somebody would figure it out.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there's that, and that's coming out soon. Hopefully, very soon, maybe a couple weeks. And then I think it's a good transition to talk about like Alex, how you sort of built the merch store and how that came about.
The merch store is my baby, dude. I love the merch store.
I love it too.
So I wanted to give us a new source of revenue. I think were you the one that came up with the idea, merch?
Yeah, I mean, we always wanted to do merch, but it was like, I don't want to fucking pay to go
Yeah.
like buy a bunch of shirts that nobody's gonna buy right off the bat. Like,
Yeah.
it just seems silly. Like we can eat shit and eat the cost for a little bit, but
Right.
and then you came with this Teespring idea, which I think is great.
Yeah, no, because Teespring's great. But I just wanted a way that we didn't have to buy a bunch of inventory and then have to sit on it because I know it's not going to all go in an instant.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Teespring kind of came up and it's like, this will work. We can fuck with this. So I just started working on designs for it. Saw what stuck, kind of just threw it up. And then it was a long time because we were fucking with like the tests and everything, and we had a couple designs that didn't really work out because of the way they printed. So it was a while before we started the store.
It was like
But,
6 months.
Yeah, it was like 6 months.
It was like ready to
think-
go for quite a while.
It was super ready to go for quite a while. I think the issue was we didn't want to start it in the middle of the pandemic.
Right. I mean, I think
Um,
like come March, like that was when I was like, okay, let's do it. And it was like,
yeah,
oh, shit.
the world ended.
And I'm like, nobody wants to buy anything right now. And
yeah,
Then there's the whole George Floyd thing, and it's like, no.
Mhm.
not
World just went to shit straight up
yeah,
like this year.
yeah. And I remember like there was the regular design, like the regular shirt with the what do you call it? The kanji.
Oh yeah, like katakana.
Yeah. Can you set the record straight on like what that translates to?
It just says only bangers.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh yeah. I think it was that shirt in like a couple of different colors, and there's a couple colorway ones, and then the Scooby shirt. Like Scooby had the shirt that said maybe then baby I'll be at the phone.
Mhm.
He had that shirt like before the store was even live. Like
Yeah, I
he's
know.
like, can I order that? I'm like, yeah, just like go to this link and click order a sample,
Mhm.
and he had it. And yeah, so that stuff was the reason it took so long to get that going was because we like wanted to get samples and make sure everything was good before we made it go live. And then I ordered one of the shirts, and the little Bangers Only logo, the hammer, was like it was supposed to be on like the exact neck of the shirt, and it was like a good 6 inches below it. Like
yeah,
like in the middle of the back up a little bit, and apparently it was not something that could be fixed because Teespring is very particular about their dimensions and everything. And
Yeah.
I get it, like they take their fee and everything, but they're just hosting all this stuff that like we are still making profit on, but not fronting any inventory, which is like all things considered, like very good. Like that's quite good for a business starting up.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, that finally started, and then since I'm running out of time, beating 1 in 10 minutes, do I have to upgrade? I have to buy more. I might have to make a new meeting. When that happens, we'll do it again. But
Cool.
Right.
uh, yeah, the store is live now, and so like as far as like the promotional material of Bangers Only goes, the first thing that came about was the logo with the hammer and the logo, and then Bangers Only Records, and that was made by my friend Lauren Hundrulis in Columbus. Did all of the photos and artwork for my band, The Borders, in Columbus. Maybe we'll get her on the podcast one day. I think that'll be fun. And then you kind of took that and made the designs with this. Why don't you talk about like
Yeah.
the actual design process of the merch?
Design process of merch. So the first design that I made was I think I called it the cactus juice design, um, which was, I don't know, it's just kind of name I thought on the fly. I was like, this sounds cool. It works, whatever. So I just kind of I wanted to do like a square, like some sort of frame, but just having a regular frame looked kind of fucked. So I put the little notches in it, and it looked way better. And then I wanted to do sort of like a techwear sort of vibe with the text. So that's why I did the little katakana, little
What is that actually called?
italic stuff.
Like, what is the Japanese writing called?
So there's a combination of katakana and hiragana on that one, because one of the words is a foreign word, which makes it katakana, and one of them is a Japanese word, which makes it hiragana.
Oh,
It's Japanese is weird. It's kind of fucky, but yeah. So I just kind of went from there, fucked with the text for a minute, and then I wanted the logo just super big on it.
Yeah.
So did the big logo in the center to just throw that promotion out there on the merch.
yeah,
Send it off, and then the rest of it was just kind of taking the same design idea and translating into what can I take from this cover and put it on this merch, or how can I make this hoodie look similar enough to where it fits the same aesthetic, but is different enough to where it's a different piece of merch.
yeah. And I think a big
Like
part
with
of it
that
is
hoodie.
like drilling into people's heads that logo. I mean, like think about
Yeah.
Supreme. Like the reason it's so. I mean, the reason it's known is because it's hype. But like,
Yeah.
people see that red box and they're like, "Oh my god, it's Supreme!" And like,
hmm
I think our logo has that same sort of potential to just like be posted on anything and like have that star power in a way. I really love
Yeah.
our logo a lot. I think it's just like iconic, even though we've only been around for a year. You know?
Yeah, no, I do too. I don't know. I was making the animation for what we have as the like start of videos now, and just like redrawing it 70 times was so it kind of showed me all the detail that went into it, and it was really interesting to see that.
I'm surprised
And
you
then-
redrew that. I was like, I thought it was
Oh,
the
yeah.
same thing.
No, no, I redrew it so many times, but it was worth it. Like I really like how that animation came out. It's
Oh,
a
I
super
love it,
cool
yeah.
intro. But yeah, and then it kind of showed me like the whole everything that went into that logo, and now I appreciate it so much more and love it as our little iconography now.
Yeah, I really do want to do a shirt that's like the Bangers Only like logo on a breast pocket, like right breast,
hmm
and
Yeah.
then the back is like Bangers Only, or maybe like a long sleeve, and you got Bangers Only, and then Only Bangers on the other one.
Yeah, no, that would be sick.
Teespring kind of is a little cucky in
Yeah.
that regard. But I've actually started making my own merch, believe it or not.
Mhm.
Kyle's seen it. But for the
Oh, yeah.
Smoke Gouda 2 video, I bought a hoodie from Walmart, like just a black hoodie, and I went to a local screen printing shop and I had them screen print the logo on the hoodie. So it's just like the white on a black, and it looks freaking sick. It only cost me like
Nice.
$15 too. It's like $20 hoodie from Walmart, $15 screen printing. Like,
Yeah,
make it $45 for a hoodie. Hoodies are expensive, like.
yeah, they are.
Yeah. Yeah. So the merch store. What's your favorite merch design, by the way?
I don't know. I like a lot of them. I just really love Cactus Juice because it was the first one that came out,
It's
and I
iconic.
really love the Scooby one, the one with the skull on the front and the text on the back. I
Yeah,
dig
that's my
that one a
favorite
lot.
one. I
Yeah.
love that. Just that whole skull design with Scooby fits so perfectly for me.
Hmm.
I think that's a good brand for
Yeah.
him. Is that pink skull?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Speaking of that pink skull, I got some skulls here. I'm probably going to Menards to buy spray paint
Oh,
tomorrow.
word?
We're gonna have the pink skull.
Let's go.
Should we talk about that?
We can talk about it if you want to.
Okay. Yeah. So there's an album in the works that is a little bit of a different direction for Scooby, and I've had this idea for the album artwork for quite a while. So it's kind of an expansion of the pink skull you see on whatever the fuck that album's called, something phone. Maybe then they'll be able to phone. And so I'm like with the Smoke Gouda 2 video, we really kind of nobody's seen it yet, but Thrill's working on it. Is I think we stepped up in a big way with that video in regards to like set design and locations and other things. Not so much visual effects as is the waiting video, but that kind of leads into the room for like practical effects, and that's kind of where I'm going with this idea is bringing that skull to life, like actually getting a pink skull and kind of mimicking that bloody pink skull, and then what does that look like in the real world, and sort of making it more gritty and like nasty looking. And I think what would be really cool is like seeing a progression of that like throughout Scooby's career. Like I don't know if you guys know like A Day to Remember It All, but like they have their guy on like every cover. It's just like a silhouette guy, and he's in every single cover, and it just goes on, and it's like this progression. I think that could be like sort of the same thing.
That's a great idea. Like it's
Yeah.
it's definitely like a Scooby trademark thing that happens in like every one of his new albums. Like you see that in some form.
Like even if
Kinda
even if it's
the
just in the
Kanye
back,
Bear and shit. Yeah.
Exactly, the Kanye bear. That's even a even better example.
Hmm.
So Alex, how are you making that happen?
Oh yeah. So I got some Halloween skulls, and then I'm gonna spray paint it pink and cover it in fake blood. See what happens.
Hell yes.
But yeah, I just want to take it out and do some photography and try and get some cool shots. Try to use for covers.
Hell yeah. All right, we're back. What are you drinking, Sir Alex?
Yangling.
Oh, the Japanese lager.
No, the American lager.
Sure, whatever. Uh, um, let's talk about the Bangers Only cinematic universe,
Right.
which is a thing I think is growing.
I think
Finally.
it's real. After we shot Smoked Gouda 2, like yeah, there's definitely a universe here. Definitely.
Definitely.
We're superheroes, bro.
That's the way I want it to be. Is like we should be like I don't know. I think like the normal life thing is boring. Like we've seen all that stuff, but we've also seen like flexing beyond everyone's imagination. So it's like to me, like I just want to have fun with it, like
Yeah.
more than anything. Is that how you guys feel?
Yeah. No, that's definitely how I feel.
100%. Mhm.
Yeah, and like I think with like the visuals that have been coming out, we really are building something of a world, and we have like certain looks we use. Like right now, I think we're riding like a big purple wave. At least that's the way it would seem. And then for the thrill of it cover, I fucking love. Like, why actually?
yeah.
Why don't you talk about how you made that? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. Literally, I remember like a while ago on my Young Thrill story, I was like, my Young Thrillhouse Instagram page. This was like months ago, and like I was just fucking around high as fuck in my bed, dude. And I was just like making, like I would just post random stories and I feel like it, and like I got one and I used this filter, and I was in the dark, and it was like a space filter, it made everything look like space. And because I was in the dark, it was just black with like stars and stuff all over. And I started adding like little emojis and stuff to it, and it created this little picture. And I'll show you what I got. Hold on.
Oh, the actual thing.
Yeah, give me a second.
Oh shit! Live premiere.
He's got the bag.
He's got the bag.
Yeah, so I ended up just literally using Snapchat and like emojis. I like made this thing of like this dude like
That's insane.
transcending straight up, and
Is that an emoji on Apple?
yeah, yeah.
What do you search, like pray or something? Like kneel?
I don't remember. It was just on there, and then these are like stars. I like star emoji I found, and like, but yeah, it was just me fucking around with emojis, and then so I thought of, when it came time to sit down and actually think about this album cover, and I found that picture because I was just scrolling through my camera roll, and I found that picture, and I was like, oh man, this is so sick. I just really liked it, and
It was a picture
but
of what?
it was the same picture I found. It was just in digital form, like
Oh,
because I
yeah,
had it
yeah.
saved on my phone. I had it saved on my phone, and I put it in like. I'm not honest. It's weird. I'm not good with Photoshop, so I just use After Effects to do that stuff. So I put it in After Effects, and I was like, you know what? I don't want the album cover to be just like a straight up like digital image of that. And I
Yeah.
was thinking like I always like what you're just saying about the new Scooby cover. Like
Practical effect.
I prefer like album covers that are just like an actual photographed image.
Yeah, totally.
And so it's like, so what can I do? And then I came up with the idea of making it like in physical form, like whatever this is called. Like it's not a mural or whatever.
It's like a shadow box or something, right?
Like something that you put like paintings on and stuff. And I just sent this picture over to Walgreens, and they made this for me.
Shout out
Paid a little
Walgreens.
bit. Yeah, it wasn't that much money. And then I came out with the vision. Like a vision popped in my head what I was gonna do with it, and I was thinking like because for the thrill of it is obviously like this like weird mystical kind of like digital feel.
Yeah.
Like the feel of this.
It's
But
a different world.
but yeah, but in the same sense, it's also like it's got this whole like outdoorsy medieval vibe. I wanted that medieval shit, that fantasy, like it's a fantasy, but a new generation fantasy.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, it'd be cool if like I just had the image, like I put that in like the woods or something, like you're a traveler and you stumbled upon this like artifact and like it starts a new quest, like you finding it. And then I found like my brother had this because he was really into steampunk.
Oh,
like,
the
10
ray
years
gun.
ago. Yeah, and this fire ass ray gun thing.
I was gonna ask about that. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah. It's so sick to me. I was just looking around in this area and I found it, and I was like, okay, it'll be cool if I just put that in the picture. So and yesterday I had the image of what I was gonna do, and then I had the props I was gonna use. So just yesterday I just went to my park and like just like found a great place to sit down and took the picture, and it
That was
like
yesterday.
yeah, and it's
Oh
crazy
my God.
how like how exact it came out to like what I was envisioning it. Like the way the leaves were and everything kind of was pointing towards the character on the
Yeah.
thing.
That's something I've
And
like really grown to admire. Like
Mhm.
being around
Mhm.
artists who actually understand like the fundamentals of art and shit, and like it's about the composition of where everything is, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
what I really
like
like
all
about
the
art these
shapes.
days. Honestly, is like how things look in a picture, like where everything's positioned, and that's why
Exactly.
like I don't necessarily think you need a title on there. It speaks for itself.
Yeah, I agree. I prefer like a big inspiration was like when Kanye had his whole like thing where he dropped those like 7-song albums.
Yeah.
And like that was when he did Yay, but like the Pusha T one Daytona, that album cover for me, it was like
Whitney Houston's
it was
bathroom.
just this yeah, it was a straight up picture of Whitney Houston's bathroom, and like it was just like bold. Like I'm a fan of those just bold like what can you say with the single picture? Like usually I would just put shit in texture like and make it like the Game Boy Love. I just like took an actual picture and then like fucked it up with like other like images I transposed over it. But
Mhm.
like I wanted just a very specific thing that says like what the album is, and that was pretty much it. That's how it came about, and it turned out, it turned out just how I was thinking it would. It turned out really sick, I think. So
That's great.
it's awesome.
I think it's iconic. I
Yeah.
think it's already iconic.
I know, yeah, and it's a breath of fresh air for bangers only because like we haven't really done it like that. I don't think.
Yeah,
And I think
Mm.
it gives us, I don't know, it just feels like it makes us seem like that we're going in different directions.
Yeah.
I think you see that, and it almost gives a vibe of more professionalism, even though it's minimalist. Like it
Hmm.
just looks like something you see like on the charts.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
Yeah, it looks like very specific, like people see it and it's a very specific
maybe
image.
that's just
It's like,
like Mandela effect of, or not Mandela effect, but like people thinking like, oh, it's like abstract, like it must be super cool. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
but
exactly.
there's some truth to that, and when I saw it, it instantly reminded me of not in the content, but like just the vibe of it was the Death Grips cover with the
Oh
dick
yeah,
on it, just
yeah, I
like
know, yeah,
straight up like image, like this is it, like no frills.
yeah,
This is the image. This is the vision,
Mm.
and that's what I
hundred
like
percent.
about it. And I'm really excited for people to hear that because I think that's some new ground for us.
Yeah, it fits the album cover fits the album perfectly, and I can't wait. I can't wait for people to hear it. It's gonna be so dope.
Yeah.
Like it's a actual, like I want people to listen to it like the whole album, like just throughout. That's what I like. That first listen for me when I listen to albums, you just go all throughout, and it's like you're enjoying the entire piece of like art. And like this, I want like I try to make it as entertaining as possible, and like it just hops into different vibes, and like people will always be thrown off, and it's like some new realm shit you're into. It's really cool.
It really
Yeah.
is. And then we talked about it with Scooby, and he's like, it's almost different genres. And like, I had only heard
Yeah, at
maybe like five
times.
of the songs, and then I was like, wow, you weren't kidding. Like, it really is a different
Yeah.
vibe each song. Like, there are songs that are like similar, but
Hmm.
what I like about it is like, there's Welcome Riders, Bags, and then also Nightmare and Wings, and
Yeah.
it really is just like they do sit within their own vibe because it's like your production is very specific in a lot of ways, but then there's like pockets, which is like at least for me, I think it's totally different than something you've usually done.
It is. Yeah, it was supposed to be like that. Pockets was I got that I think I told you just recently, but I made that sample. Um, dun, 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 and I couldn't. I just that wasn't. I really loved it. It just wasn't something I would want to throw trap drums on.
Mm-hmm.
So I started listening to some like Claro shit. Like some bedroom.
Bags.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
where
yeah.
bags came from?
Some like no. I'm talking about Pockets.
No, I mean like Claro
Song
bags,
bags.
and then your
Oh
song
yeah.
bags,
No, not that. But
not stolen.
no. But just I was listening to a lot of those like types of songs, and I was just thinking about what they do with the drums, and because like for me, it's like I have a melody, and then what are the drums gonna sound like? And my drums always sound similar because I use like just similar drums. That's what I have. So the drums themselves, like they are some shit that I would use in my trap stuff, but like the patterns is what I had to learn. I had to learn like how to make a drum pattern
And that's what makes it
like
consistent.
with
It
that
still
vibe.
sounds like you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I,
And then like
yeah,
there's that part in bags where or in pockets where like I put the 808s in and then I do more like trap shit. That's just me like
it's like,
trying to
hey, I'm
like
still here.
yeah, I'm trying to just like be submersive and stuff and like yeah, just change the genre. Just fuck around. I want like I want people to fuck around with music and I want to show people with pockets like dude, like don't put yourself into
Box.
like yeah, don't put yourself into a box and music can be a lot of different things. But also it's called Lego Interlude now. Lego Interlude, that song is very experimental too. Like there's no 808s in it. It's just my video game synthy melody with these weird like uh clicky sort of crunchy retro drums to them. And that's very much like it's not really a trap drum pattern at all, but like it works. And I have to give it to Scooby because with pockets I sent that like dude, like I know you like want to go in this direction sometimes with more like not just like trap inspired music, like he had the song Pain and Decay and stuff like where it's just like guitar and like I mean like I don't want to say rock, but like like actual music, not not
Actual
just like
music.
yeah, not just like sound effects that you put in together.
You
But
heard it here first, folks.
yeah, so when I sent pockets to Scooby, I was just like, dude, I don't know how like he probably would. This will probably be the first one that he sends me. Like I don't know what to do. Like
Yeah,
I don't know how he would make a song out of that. And then when I first heard it, I was like, dude, like you actually did it. Like it was really weird. I didn't know he can pulled off with that one. That was like Pockets was a really crazy beat for me. So like when he sent that, I was like, all right, this needs to go in because that's what I wanted with For the Thrill of It. I wanted to show people that like I can do Welcome Riders, some trap, some hard future Young Thug shit, and then I'll do the Scooby shit, which me and Scooby already have our own vibe, that icy sort of like ambience in a way, like vibes, like straight up icy like vibe. And so yeah, with Pockets, I was like, yeah, I can. I'll show you guys. I can do this shit too if you want me to.
yeah, versatile.
Yeah. I wanted to show that because this is the first like big project for me, and like I want to show everything I have. So yeah.
That's true. You don't really have like a complete project out. Like it's mostly singles.
hmm
But yeah, and it is like very much your vision. I think like it's definitely like a Thrillhouse
Yeah.
episode, if you will. Like I see this as episode one,
Yeah, it's
and
episode one.
I've said before like I have kind of grown away from like really like loving albums as a format. Like I think albums have a place, but in this type of music, it can a lot of times be detrimental. Like you got these like rappers dropping 20 song albums, and it's like nobody wants to hear that. Like,
Yeah.
why don't you drop 8 songs, 10 songs, 30 minutes,
Yeah.
and then you're not wasting like the other stuff you have. Like you can release 2 albums a year, and you're keeping your fans entertained throughout the whole time. You're not just like blowing your load basically on like
Yeah.
one record the whole year. And like I look at Scooby, and he is likely going to release 4 albums this year. Lost Vibrations, maybe then Baby I'll Be at the Phone, this one, and then the album that I'm doing with him, like probably like December.
Mhm.
Like, and it's like that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
Lost Vibrations seems like years ago, but
It does.
yeah,
That's why I chose to make it because originally For the Thrill of It was just gonna be like just my beats, my like what it is now. Like I choose the beats, I choose who I want on them. Like I structure them all. Like I mix the beats, I put in my own sound bites and stuff. Like, but I wanted it to be, just everybody from Bangers Only, not just Scooby Thrill. But the thing is, like, Scooby just I have so many songs with him because he just records them so quickly and sends them to me
yeah,
that like I was like, dude, fuck it. I just need to do a Scooby Thrill project because first of all, it'll get done quicker. I don't have to wait on everybody else. I know Scooby will send me the vocals like within a day when he gets a beat. So
yeah.
and we already had so much shit we needed to drop it, and so it just worked out that way.
Yeah, so let me ask you this: was the timeline of it like that long, or like I know you said you started on it in like March, or like quarantine basically. Um, what was it like from like start to finish?
Yeah, so um, it sort of started in March, but like I said originally, I had the idea for the thrill of it to be like just everybody from Bangers Only. So I tried like I
Oh, it was gonna
maybe
be like
like
the collab album.
yeah. It was gonna be the Thrill collab album, and that was like I planned that like I don't even fucking know, bro. Like maybe like it was definitely 2019 sometime, end of 2019. I came up with that because I know I just wanted to drop an album. But then yeah, and then quarantine hit, and that's when. But that allowed me to actually like okay, like do this album. Like I'm gonna all right, actually do it now, because I had the idea of what it was, but then when that hit, I was like okay, let's actually start grinding on it. And then that's when I said, which was in March, like all right, let's just make it a Scooby Thrill album. And so yeah, I had already a few. I had like probably 3 or 4 tracks from it already, and then at that time, like it was March, April, like with May probably, like I just kept on making beats only for the album. Um and the ones and the ones that I chose, I would send to Scooby like, all right, do this one, it'll be on the album, and he would send them back, and they all worked out. So yeah.
Hell yeah. And do you have a favorite?
A favorite track?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that recently because I've obviously been like re-listening to it all because I've been just like finishing the mixes and stuff.
I asked
and,
Scooby yesterday,
living.
so I
Oh,
know what
really?
his
Okay.
is.
Okay, so obviously I have so many. Top three. Bags. All right, Bags. I think is an amazing second track to any album because
Yes.
it just goes.
Yes.
And Bags, you're just it's like the shortest song, and you're just going. It's a loop. That's what I like. I just like. I want to prove to people that like you can. This is what Earl Sweatshirt does in his new shit in some rap songs. He just
Yeah.
puts his weird experimental beat on a loop and raps over it. But it's the same structure, but obviously we're not making Earl music. But like what Bags is just same minimalist, pure minimalism. Like just 5 tracks and it just looped throughout and it just goes and it bangs and it's so catchy.
Yes.
So that's why I love Bags. But what I realized is I think Live in the Moment, which was Phonin', that he dropped, it's just already out on SoundCloud, but I'm putting it back into the album because it's my favorite SoundCloud song he dropped with me, and I love the title Live in the Moment, and I've been listening to that a lot recently, and like I just love it so much. I love Live in the Moment. Like there's a scene where he's like, fucking scene. There's a line where he's like,
it is a movie.
yeah, and even line. It's not
Movie.
a line. It's a fucking lyric. It's a lyric where he says like, "Gonna go to California." Hey, like got some girls that I know there. Like I can just imagine just like Scooby, like 'cause Scooby went to California
That
to live.
did
and,
happen. That's
yeah, and
good.
that was that was after he made that song. So I just imagine it felt real to me. Like if when I go to California and on that plane, I know I'm gonna listen to Live in the Moment because like that to me is just like going to like live your dreams and stuff. And then um also I really like Wings. I think Wings is so good.
Yeah.
Wings is so good.
I love Wings. Wings might be my favorite. I was
Mhm.
telling Scooby I like if I had to like break it down into like bangers and then vibes,
Mhm.
Bags is my banger, and then Wings or Nightmare is the vibe.
Oh, true. I love Nightmare. Yeah.
What do you think Scooby picked as his favorite?
Let me look at the track list.
I don't know that he said it was like an
Okay.
outright favorite, but like that sort of I could tell you like two of them. Like
Is it Time or Surf Up? Maybe.
no,
What is it? What is it?
he said Nightmare,
Nightmare.
and then
Okay.
and then Bags.
Okay, yeah. I should have guessed Nightmare because that was one I just knew he loved because I wasn't crazy for it at first. Like a lot of this shit sneaks up on me. Like Nightmare and Time, which was Surf Up, I've had forever, and like I just didn't. I think a lot of it was my beat. I wasn't into my beat, but when I mixed Nightmare, I redid my beat, and I love it so much more now.
Yeah, just coming
And
back to it and fixing it.
yeah, and it's like the perfect like as soon as he sent me Nightmare, I'm like this like is immediately the outro. Like it was such an outro because it feels like the beat feels like every and at like the beat just feels like that at the end of the day everything is gonna be all right and life moves on. That's just what the beat felt like to me.
Yeah,
And he belts in Nightmare. Like it's the first time he belts.
yeah.
Like he like
I've gone
lay-
too
yeah.
far.
he lays it down. So it was just like an immediate outro track, and I know he likes that probably because of the belting. Like I knew he felt something. He felt something with that.
You know it's
Nightmare.
good if you feel something.
Yeah. Mhm.
Alex, you produce too, right?
Yeah, I do produce. I haven't produced in a long time though. I mostly produce like just little lo-fi shit just for fun.
Mhm.
But I haven't done it in a hot minute. But it's fun, man. I love it. It's good times.
So what does that look like? What does like lo-fi production look like?
It's just a lot of fucking with samples, seeing what you can pull from certain things and then throwing drum tracks over it. Throwing
Yeah.
little anime samples or whatever fits it over it.
I just think of that like animation of like the little Asian or like writing on him.
Yeah.
Like,
That's from
Yeah.
that's from a movie I just watched. I think My Neighbor Totoro. Have you
Mhm.
any of you seen that?
Yeah.
Is that from that?
Yeah.
I think it. Yeah. Because I was watching that recently for the first time, and I saw that. I'm like, oh, so that's what it's from, and that's an amazing movie,
Yeah.
by the way. All that Studio Ghibli stuff I'm just getting into now because it's all on HBO,
Mhm.
and like it's because when I look at, I'm sorry, I'm going off a film tangent, but like just straight like a quick thing is when I see how the shots in like My Neighbor Totoro are and like other Studio Ghibli films, like how the shot, like what we're saying, the shots are composited. Like I just think like, okay, if everything am seeing was the same but live action, I would think this is like an absolute masterpiece. You know what I mean? It's just beautifully shot,
that's a
and
good point.
so the fact that it's animation and it's still composited so well, and the shots are still so beautiful, like that really made me just respect that stuff
Oh
more.
yes, I would say the same. Like Studio Ghibli is a huge inspiration for me, and like I think just little things of it, I always think of when I'm making art. Um,
Hmm.
just trying to bring that just fundamentals of beautiful masterpieces into what I can make.
Yeah, and it's definitely has that like whimsical sort
Yeah.
of like vibe to it, and just sort of pleasantry. Like it's pleasant when you watch that movie, and the pleasantness comes from like how beautiful it looks and everything. So yeah.
And it is like so much about how it just like looks. Like
Hmm.
that sounds so silly to say, but like I mean, like the composite of it, like where everything is, and animation being like, there is no reason that animation should ever be anything other than exactly what you want it to be, because like you have like all the power to
Right.
put everything in
Yeah.
its place that it needs to be.
That's why shit like Rick and Morty and South Park is so amazing, because like you could only tell the stories that they tell through animation. You can't like if you can't make Rick and Morty without like a
Morty.
big fucking like without a big budget, live action. You can't do
Yeah.
that. They do, they go new dimension every like episode, but with animation, like you can do whatever you want. Like it's literally just your imagination on the screen.
Yeah.
Unreal. Well, I think we reached an hour, maybe like 45 minutes, but I just want to like a couple closing statements. Like Alex, like I mean, I guess this is like kind of like a visual themed podcast. Like the visual is part of the bangers only. Like where do you see us going? Like as far as like the visual part of it, or like where do you want us to go? Like where would you take us in your visual journey?
Man, I'm just going where the wind takes me. I really want to just take us in that, like you said, the Bangers Only cinematic universe, just progressing that idea and progressing the idea of having art as a backbone to the music and having those visuals be almost on the same level to a point, and having them,
They should be symbiotic.
yeah, absolutely, and having them coexist to a point where, oh, these are the visuals and it vibes with the music. Like you can listen to the music and look at the visuals and kind of feel something.
Yeah,
But yeah,
totally.
kind of where I see us going.
Thrill, what about you? I mean, you have a say in the visual, I would say.
Yeah, like up from here, going up, and like just continuing to, like you said, it works hand in hand with the music. When the music evolves, which it is, like quickly evolving, the visuals are gonna evolve with it, because with the new music comes new ideas, and those new ideas can be incorporated visually, and we're now like starting to use like we talked about the practical stuff, and like Alex just keeps on getting better. Like we're just gonna get better and be able to do more stuff, and like yeah, like it's going up and just crazy. I feel like we'll just keep on having entirely new aesthetics and vibes, and it'll be cool. It's a roller coaster.
I want to make
Absolutely.
a world that you can like literally feel like you're stepping into, like when you listen to
Yeah.
the music. Like I'm in a different
Mhm.
place.
Right.
Exactly.
I think for the thrill of it, especially like looking at that
Yeah.
cover and like listening to the music, you're like, I feel like I'm there, like in that little like kneeling dude's like world, wherever he is.
Yeah. Hmm.
I remembered something earlier as well that I wanted to bring up. The Maybe Then Baby Will Be in the phone cover was the prompt for that cover was fucking hilarious because wasn't it just I want something spooky, and then that's how that pink skull was born.
I remember it was
Wow.
very vague. It was
Yeah.
not very descriptive. And knowing
Wow.
Scooby, I'm not surprised at all. But that's fine.
Yeah, but it was so vague, and I just wanted to take that vagueness and just make it into something palatable. And I know we went through a bunch of iterations with that. Like at one point, it was just some swirls, like some Tame Impala-esque shit.
Boo! Fuck Tame Impala.
But yeah, no, fuck. It eventually got to where it is, and I love where it is right now. Like I love that.
I love
skull
that
thing
cover,
for Scooby. It definitely works.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's like it's perfect for his music and his aesthetic.
Again, I love that just like simple image. Like this is it. Like there's no
Yeah.
title.
Hmm.
Like I don't suppose there's a ton of art that we have that has titles. Maybe there's a couple. Like Young
There's
Fat
a
has some.
couple. I know Octane does.
Yeah.
And there's a Young Fat album that does as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But mostly they're just images, and I think it really works with it just being images.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really like that better, just personally, because like I just really love that idea of just telling as much as you can through like one image.
Yeah.
You know.
I wonder how much of that is due to like the way music consumption has evolved, and we're not going to a record store and seeing these pictures on the wall and being like, "What is that?" It's like
Yeah.
you see the title next to it on Spotify. Like,
Yeah, I was just about to
Yeah.
say, like, we've definitely changed in how we consume music. Like, you're not scrolling through vinyls or CDs anymore and like, oh, where's the title? I can't see it. Like, it's under it. Like,
it's
you
right
can
there.
you can just have this art piece instead of having to have the title on it.
And isn't that
Um,
better? Like, think about like Picasso or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck. Like, pick your artist. Like, they don't write.
No.
To make a very obvious example, like what is that image of the blue guitar guy? Like they
Oh, yeah.
don't have the title of that on the top. Like it's silly.
Yeah.
Why would you put a bumper sticker on a Ferrari?
Right.
Yeah. And it just takes you out of like whatever. Like if I put the titles on this album cover, it would just like it would take your eyes away from the fullness of the image itself, and it'll make it feel like something that was, because it was photoshopped on, like it had digital
Right.
like people like working on it, and like the whole point of like the album cover was to just make it just like a simple picture that I just posted like right away.
Mhm.
Striking.
Mhm.
Yeah. I definitely feel that writing on covers has its place. Like in Octane. The Octane cover would not be the same without that title on it.
Yeah.
Totally.
It depends on what you're going
Yeah.
for the album cover. Yeah.
It definitely does. But yeah, it depends. But I really like the vibe that we're going for right now with the titleless covers because it's just art. It's just art as a cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's the way like a lot of modern rap is going anyway. Like I
Yeah.
seeing like Astro World. There's no title on that, or
Yeah.
really any cover that I can think of in recent memory of like mainstream.
Yeah, I
rap.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even like the up and comer like rappers, like when they drop stuff on like that don't have like a label or anything yet, like when they drop stuff on like SoundCloud especially, or like Spotify sometimes, like they just have images of stuff. Like even what Scooby's a great example of when he would post stuff on SoundCloud. Like he would just post pictures. Like one of them is
Yeah.
like a picture of him in Braven or some shit.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like that's what he would do, and I kind of wanted to keep that same vibe,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, and what was it like, Thrill? You and I were just talking about. Fuck. I feel like Joe Biden. I lost my train of thought. About the titleless covers. I forgot. I don't know. I guess that means it's time to go to bed.
Oh, whatever.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in here.
For sure.
We're here with Alex, Mr. House. My name's Cooper. We're signing off for the Thrill that comes out next Friday.
October 16th.
Yep. Hopefully, waiting video soon.
Hopefully soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just be on the lookout for that shit. I mean, I'm super excited for that. I think it's new ground for us. So, all right, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.